Hi guys, it's Caroline here, and today I want to talk to you about a very real fear, and that's the fear of rejection. If you've ever found yourself holding back, so for example, there's a girl you really like but you don't go over and talk to her because you're worried that she's going to say she's not interested, or there's a really hot guy you've spotted when you're online dating and you want to send him a message but you think, why bother, he's not even going to respond, I might not even get a wink from him and then I'm going to feel really crappy. So instead I'm just going to forget about it, I'm going to sit on here on my own and I'm going to stay safe and not feeling any kind of rejection at all. If you've ever experienced that and if you're feeling it right now, then you are not alone, but you definitely want to stick around for this video. The first thing I want to say is that it's a really very common fear, and it's one that, so many people experience. I run a dating agency in London and I can safely say that it does not matter. People from all walks of life have this, and I work with a lot of top executives who, when it comes to their career, they've got it so nailed. But when it comes to dating, that fear of rejection, it just all encompasses them, and it's a real hindrance and it's a real block for them for finding somebody. I know it's not easy and I know it's a hard thing to tackle, but I really say to you that it's something you really must do, because if you want to find that special someone, and I tell you, it is worth it, it is so worth it, you need to take action now, and hopefully I'm going to give you a few things to think about in this video. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to put yourself in a scenario. Okay, I want you to imagine that you're in a bar. Now, whether you go to bars or not doesn't matter. Just for this exercise, let's imagine you're in a bar and you've seen a really cute guy or girl that you want to talk to. There's one thing stopping you: the walk. You've actually got to go over to them. Now, I want you to visualize that in your head. And even as I'm saying this, my heart is going, because it is a scary thing to do. Okay, so you've walked over to them. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing in the world that could happen now? For me, it would probably be a guy turning around and saying, "Oh, you're so ugly, why are you even talking to me? Go away." In which case I'll probably go and cry in a dark, dark corner. Okay, but what's the worst thing that you feel could happen? Just think about it for a minute. Now, with my scenario, I would say that I would feel a bit crappy if that happened. But the next morning, I would wake up and think, what an asshole. He was so rude. I've had a lucky escape. I don't want to be with somebody who talks or treats people like that. Now, that guy didn't know me from anyone else, because all I would have done is gone over and said hello. He doesn't know who I am. So how can he reject me? He doesn't know who I am as a person. Now, he could have been in a relationship, he could have been having a really bad day. He could be there just wanting to talk to his buddies, and actually, you know what, he was really rude and he's woken up feeling guilty about it this morning. Who knows? Or you know what, he could have just not fancied me or found me attractive, because that's normal, we all like different people. And we have to accept that. In the same way you don't fancy everybody, well maybe you do, but let's imagine you don't fancy everybody who you see. Not everybody's going to fancy you, and that is okay, because all that matters is that one special person does. Okay, so that worst case scenario, is it really that bad? Well, let's see. Now I want you to think of the best case scenario. So you're in that bar again, maybe you've had a couple of drinks, and you're going to go over and talk to that cute guy or girl. When you get there, you start striking up a conversation and it goes really well. And you keep chatting and you ask them out on a date, or they ask you, and you go on a date the next week, and then a second date and a third date, and it continues. And actually you fall in love. And the most amazing thing is they fall in love with you too. That is the best case scenario. Let's weigh them up a minute. So worst case scenario is somebody says something a bit horrible to you. And actually, let's just be honest for a minute. How often are people really rude? Not that often. They might ignore you, or they might just say, "Oh, thanks for coming over, but I'm not interested." It's really not that bad, okay? So that's the worst case scenario. Someone's a bit horrible to you and makes you feel a bit crappy for a few days. The best case scenario is finding the love of your life and living happily ever after. Which would you rather have? I know it's difficult, and that fear of rejection can really hold you back. But if you do nothing, you're never going to get it. You're just not. You're never going to find that love and happiness if you don't really put yourself out there. And it's scary, but look at what you have to gain. finding somebody amazing to share your life with. Okay, you might get a couple of knockbacks. That's life. But focus on the end game and what you can get from it. Now, today it's just been a short and snappy video, but I really hope that it helps you in some way. I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, pop on over to Twitter. You can find me at matchmaker_miss. If you want to Facebook me, I'm Caroline Breeley Matchmaker. I really want to hear from you. And if you have any other tips of kind of dealing with rejection, particularly in dating, then I want to hear it, because this is just the first video in a series of ones that I'm going to do. And I would love to hear from you. And particularly if you have overcome that fear, what was it for you that really did that? I want you to be happy and I want you to find love. And doing that means taking action and working on yourself as a person. So I want you to take some time to really think about what's important for you. And remember, this is the side we want. This is the end game. Love, happiness in a relationship with someone you adore. It's worth it.